From one specimen to another, I could talk about Boogie.
Oh God.
It's been a while since we talked about our good old friend Boogie, the titan of mental strength. Well, I may or may not have mentioned this on the podcast before. I know I asked you and you said that I never brought it up. So, I never told you about like a lot of the shit Boogie did, like with like the Tesla and all that, right?
No.
So, I guess I'll start with like well, I'll tell you the Tesla thing, and then I'll like, cause I watched a video about Boogie recently, and now I know like a lot more to do with that. So, well, actually, let me start from the beginning. So, I believe it was, I want to say, like 2017, 2018 is where Boogie really started to change, because before that Boogie was actually like a genuinely like nice guy. He was a really good guy. He was a good person, and that at that time that's why people called him like the most wholesome guy on the internet and shit like that. And so what ended up happening was it was basically because of Boogie's gastric bypass surgery, and through that his wife ended up leaving him because of how stressful the surgery and shit was. Which, to be fair, with that surgery, it said like a common thing with that kind of surgery is like 95% of all marriages don't last through that surgery because that's how stressful it is. And so that was like the first thing. And Boogie's content after that switched to from being happy and talking about video games and all that kind of stuff to making all these videos about like depression and all that kind of stuff and suicide and shit like that. And people kind of got tired of like Boogie complaining about how depressed he was and how like how sad he was with his life. And they're like, we missed a guy that used to come on here and be positive and wholesome about everything and just talk about video games. And so Boogie kind of started digging this hole for himself where his fucking self-confidence just completely went away, and he just constantly just kept talking about him being depressed. And he even told like the story of how he went to fucking VidCon one year and he was like telling all these fucking YouTubers and shit how like he was planning on like taking his life soon and shit, and he was like suicide baiting and shit for sympathy. And so also for a while Boogie was like very open about like how much money he made on YouTube and shit. I don't remember how much it was, but he said he made enough to where he was like going to be good for the rest of his life. And so basically when his wife left him, he gave her like 50% of everything, because that's what you're supposed to do like when you get a divorce and whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but he said that he still had enough money to where he was going to be completely taken care of the rest of his life. Then all of a sudden, like, he started talking about how he was investing his money into Bitcoin and shit. He starts making videos talking about how like he lost all his money to Bitcoin and that he was broke and that he needed his subscribers to donate to him and shit. And this is where he started turning really scummy. And so this is what leads up to the Tesla thing that I was going to tell you about. So there's kind of like the background of how we got to here. So Boogie he basically went on like his Twitch stream. I think it was Twitch, and he basically so people had like donated to him and stuff previously, and because he did some other kind of like scummy thing where he asked people to donate to him and they gave him money. So then all of a sudden, like, even though he said he needed people to donate to him because he was broke, he did this Twitch stream flexing about how he was gonna buy this $100,000 Tesla, and that he already bought it, and like that he already bought it, and then he was like telling his subscribers during the stream that, oh, like, uh, I need you guys to donate me money, that way it can help me pay off the Tesla and shit like that. And he was talking about how the Tesla was like more expensive than his house and shit, and fucking basically just baiting people to donate to him to help him pay for the Tesla. So he, like I said, he said all this stuff about how he already bought the Tesla and he couldn't return it and all this shit, and that people had to donate to him to help him. So everybody donated to him. I think he only made about like fucking 4,000 or something off it, and it wasn't much in terms of like trying to cover the cost of like $100,000 Tesla. But after that, Boogie then pretty much said that because the people that donated to him, they're like, oh, like, where's the Tesla at? Pretty much Boogie was like, what are you talking about? I never bought a Tesla. He literally said, I never talked about buying a Tesla. I never said I bought a Tesla, when he legitimately was saying he bought one to get people to donate to him to help him. And then he started lying, saying that he never said he was going to buy the Tesla. He never had any plans to buy the Tesla, and he didn't know what people were talking about. And he was saying that it was a stupid idea to buy a Tesla because it's only going to depreciate in value over time. And so that's when people started like looking at Boogie in the light of, okay, this guy is like a scumbag that's like faking all this shit to get people to donate to him. So that was pretty much the Tesla thing. And I thought at first that he just like said he was getting a Tesla and then lied about it, but it was actually he fucking fucked people out of their money on a lie that he bought a Tesla, and these people were donating to him to be nice to him to try to help him out, and then afterwards he said that he never even bought a Tesla, that he never even thought about it and shit. So that's one fucking scummy ass thing he did. And another is that he just continues to like do all this fucking like content that's just like talking about him being broke and how he needs money and fucking how he's depressed all the time and suicidal thoughts and weight gain and all this type of shit, and he just lives this like destructive lifestyle and shit. And we already know about the whole fucking him, firing the warning shot shit, because we talked about that when it happened on the podcast. So we already know about that. And then like, since then he still does his usual, going on Twitter and putting his 2 cent topics that have nothing to do with him, sensitive issues that have nothing to do with him and shit. And there was something that happened recently that he like involved himself in, and he got a lot of backlash for it. I need to actually go to his Twitter to see if I can find it, because there was like some shit he put his opinion in on Twitter, and he got like a lot of backlash. Oh, also Boogie, since the last time we talked about him, he's officially started an OnlyFans, and people are actually paying for it. Like, he say he makes like a couple $100 a month off of his OnlyFans. I'm trying to see if I can find it, because he had some sort of drama going on. What the fuck was it? It was like on some like really sensitive topic. I don't remember if it was like stuff about like the Kanye stuff or what it was. Oh, okay. Yes, I remember it was. So Boogie revealed that he found out that he has blood cancer, I think it was. and he was basically talking about how it's like a rare like thing that not a lot of people get, and that he has it, right, and whatever. And then like people started saying that like he was faking having cancer and whatever. And so he started this like whole drama going at people on Twitter, and there's just all this drama. And then what he's been doing recently is he's been like trying to defend Kanye, and he's trying to like say stuff about like mental health and shit, and he's been uploading like these rants about mental health, and like it's just getting him in more and more and more drama. Like whatever video he did recently is getting him canceled. uh is this video called Mentally Unwell. uh Fucking someone said, "Hey Boogie, what part of the video is getting you canceled? I thought it was very reasonable." And he said, "Discussing mental health, discussing mental health on YouTube normally doesn't go over that well. Saying that Kanye is being manipulated by some people also might upset some folks." So,
Jesus, dude.
like, he's saying shit like Kanye isn't entirely wrong. Hitler did some good things. Like, oh, this ties into our first topic because apparently Boogie did a video talking about his Game Awards 2022 nominees.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, he's like going on this whole thing about how Kanye is like mentally ill and trying to talk about mental health, and he's just getting a bunch of backlash for it. Um, yeah, so fucking yeah, so he does this shit for like views and clicks. Like he put a video like, so yeah, he made another video recently called Broke, and it was about how he like has no money again and shit, and how he's broke and all this shit. So he got a lot of backlash for it, and then he uploaded a response video. He said, "I watched it, I talked about it with friends and a therapist, I discussed it on my live stream. Now finally here's my response." And people were saying, "Isn't this what you wanted? You said in the video I could use the views, the clicks. Feel free to feel as mad as you want about it." And then he said, "Yeah, I think part of that is also responding to it, so I am." And oh, also Boogie's been like deleting a lot of tweets recently about him just saying dumb shit and him getting canceled.
Jesus.
Oh, and before you ask, Boogie does still do that thing where he gives his opinion on something when no one asks for it, and or has like a really bad take, and then someone argues with him or says that it's bad, and then he immediately apologizes. He still does that on a daily basis, so that hasn't changed.
Oh, dear
So,
God.
and I think one of the last times we talked about Boogie, we were talking about like how his New Year's resolution was to no longer feed into the trolls and the haters, and he never followed up on that because still to this day he does nothing but feed the trolls and the haters. So yeah, as far as Boogie is concerned, as of December 2022, he's still a piece of shit. He's still a fucking scumbag and a liar. I don't know if the cancer thing is real or not. When he said it, he seemed like he was being genuine about it, but I don't know. He's just really scummy, and he has really bad fucking opinions and shit. And Boogie's just really a piece of shit. And if he has cancer, like for real, then like obviously, like I feel bad for that, you know, because I wouldn't wish cancer onto anybody, but
Yeah.
like, still, it doesn't take away from the fact that he's a fucking scummy piece of shit. So, but yeah, that's kind of a little update on Boogie.